Hey Hardin County, it's Michelle Labus, and it is March 25th, 2025, and I am here to report on the commissioners meeting today. They did transfer the pilot money, so I'm going to have to go back and get the notes next week when on how much that is. So we'll get that from the auditor. The commissioners noted that they went to the Council on Aging meeting. They went to a pork fest and a beef banquet. They had their hearing for Hale, Pleasant, and maybe Blanchard Townships for the solar restrictions. And so that was completed without any issues. Bernie Moreno had two of his representatives come to talk to the commissioners for about an hour. It was quite long. So they kind of gave a rundown of who they were and kind of where they've been in their career, and then kind of just asked about what the commissioners, if they had any concerns or anything they wanted to take back to Senator Moreno there, and nothing real notable. They talked about the solar restrictions quite a bit. They talked about Wilson, the new Wilson plant over there, and kind of all the things that they do. They talked about the infrastructure that the city is doing around the courthouse, and so had some interesting conversations about that and how that kind of developed, but you'll just have to watch the video. Let's see, really about, they mentioned some of the factories in town. They mentioned that we don't have a 4-lane highway. That we do have a rail spur. So kind of the things that were talked about in the Jim Jordan meeting that they attended, kind of some of those same things. Yeah, so, the roundabout's coming. So just kind of the things. They did talk about the vocational schools and how we have Ohio High Point, Apollo, and Tri Rivers kind of feeding all our Hardin County area. They did get around, Tim, towards the end of the meeting, talked about if they had any housing investors that we could use some help with finding housing investors to build actual houses and not like HUD programs. So that's, we're mainly agricultural, which is kind of funny because they talked about agriculture being our big mainstay, but yet we pushed a bunch of solar into our farmland. So that's kind of a contradictory there. They talked about Hardin County being a bedroom to these other counties as far as like Whirlpool and some of the factories around that they come and live in Hardin County because it's cheaper, and then they go work elsewhere, which I think we'd like to see that kind of changed so that that's not our namesake there. We talked about the brain drain and how we have a lot of good, smart people, but they go to other counties to work. And so, how do we keep people smart, young people to live in Hardin County? The Bernie Moreno's people, because a lot of them, the one kid is from Bellefontaine, talked about TDH, the law firm, coming, and Steinhoffler is coming. Another lawyer is coming to Hardin County, and so some of their things are coming. Of course, Mary Rutan is coming from Bellefontaine. So that was kind of it. Nothing real big there. They did have, I did not stay. I had other things to do today. And so on the agenda, I don't know if I wrote down, I know Invenergy was coming and somebody else was coming. They were doing the Ada bid opening for the street lights in Ada. And they basically open the bids, go through them, and then they refer it back to, I guess it's our engineering firm, I can't remember the name right now, but they'll refer it back to them to kind of make a decision on what the lowest one is, and they'll make their recommendations. So anyway, so I skipped that. It's pretty routine, but we will get the numbers on those, the bid numbers, so that we can at least see what the follow-up is. And we'll check the notes when they come out for what is new with Invenergy. They're just going through the reclamation process with the Hardin Solar 2 and 3. And so kind of moving it over from construction to administration, although we haven't gotten the official construction completed letters yet. And I'm not real clear on what the reclamation phase is. Anyway, so I need to kind of inquire about what that process actually is, because they had to wait for warm weather. So anyways, and I almost forgot, so the commissioners put in a public comment policy at the beginning of the year about signing up for the public comment. And so I did that, was it last week? But it was towards the end of the meeting, because I didn't have a public comment until the end. And they did let me speak, but then today they informed me that you're only allowed to sign up for public comment from 9 o'clock to 9:30, and at 9:30 that paper will be picked up, and so you have to put your name and a topic. You're only allowed to talk on the topic that you put down, which 3 minutes doesn't give you much time to talk on a topic anyways. And towards the end of the meeting, I did ask about people who come in late. Like if you say you want to come and attend, an 11 o'clock meeting or an afternoon meeting, or you just don't get there at 9 o'clock. It's really kind of if you miss that window from 9 to 9:30, then you don't get to sign up. And just making sure that policy is across the board for anybody who's making public comments. So it's kind of interesting. I do feel bad that they feel like they have to restrict it so much. It's definitely not my intention. During the public comment is just really to be able to voice myself and anybody else's, being able to come in and voice their opinion for 3 minutes. So anyways, so it keeps kind of changing, and but it's a beautiful day out. It's sunny, and looking forward to spring. So I hope you guys are having a good one. We'll talk to you later. Bye.